I'm often asked what is the best car that I've ever driven. I mean, that's impossible to answer. There have been so many over the years, cars that have stood out because they've been built for a very specific purpose. And to be fair, most of them, probably all of them, completely unattainable for me. So perhaps a better question then is, what would I buy? Now again, it's a very subjective question because it's based on my very specific needs. And I can tell you right now, this is what I need. An Audi RS4 Avant. Oh yes, I love performance, and there is plenty of it in the RS4 Avant. Let's talk figures: 331 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters. And that figure is significant because, you know, it's actually 170 Newton meters more torque than the previous B8 generation that ran with that 4.2 litre V8 engine that we also loved. And what is impressive is just how deliverable the power is. That shove is relentless, and obviously then it's a quattro, so your grip level is just fantastic. What is also different is that the previous generation ran with a 7-speed dual clutch, and Audi have now reverted back to a torque converter, this time with 8-speed. I guess that's probably to help them deal with the additional torque, but the gearbox is super smooth. I've put it into manual mode, and even if I'm driving in normal mode, whether I'm in comfort or dynamic, it really does adapt to the driving style of the vehicle. This car comes out with a 60/40 rear bias, and obviously depending on where the grip is needed, is able to actually shove as much as 70% torque to the front and 85% to the rear. But from a handling perspective, what I really enjoyed, especially driving around town, was the turn-in. That front end is just so sharp. It feels like a small compact sports car, and the tail happily just follows suit. And that is where the benefit of that quattro system comes in as well. Because of the new engine, it's actually now 17% more efficient from a fuel economy perspective and in terms of the CO2 emissions. And it's also significantly 80 kilograms lighter, weighing just 1,790 kgs. These are good figures. Of course, it has to look really good. The RS approach has always been less is more, and some might find that it's a little bit too understated, but for me, in Avant, guys, it just works perfectly. I don't know if it's because of the additional proportions, but this 4th generation is actually 62 millimeters longer, and it sits 12 millimeters lower than the B8. Audi's designers say they gained inspiration from the motorsport detailing that you found on the Audi 90 Quattro IMSA GTO, and this really is where you see it, in those flared haunches. It also comes on 20-inch aluminium forged alloys, which look really good. It's also 16 millimeters wider. The two air intakes are linked by that front splitter. Now in standard, guys, that would be black all the way through. Also blacked out is that prominent single frame big grille, and yes, the RS honeycomb is there. At the rear, standard features with some real performance benefits. Obviously, the RS-specific diffuser is a standout, as are those massive oval tailpipes from the RS exhaust system, and there's a really cool roof spoiler as well. And the entire rear end is finished off rather dramatically with their LED rear lights. The masters of the sports wagon have nailed it again. Even though this is an RS, I am so impressed with just how comfortable and compliant the ride is. Audi have really got this spot on. Their chassis setup has been so good. We commented on it when we drove the Q5 a few years back. They've got it so good. And obviously with the Audi Drive Select mode, you can choose between dynamic and comfort. And that for me is critical because yes, you want the performance, but most of the time you're going to be settling for comfort and compliance, and it just soaks up the bumps. There really is a significant difference between the different modes. And I think that's critical because it showcases the best of this car's diverse personality. The RS stitching with the honeycomb detailing not only looks good, but it's also super comfortable. I can tell you are happily going to be sitting here wanting to devour kilometer after kilometer on the open road. What's cool is it's also adjustable, so I can sort out my lumbar adjustments as well as the side bolsters, and that's nice because if I am driving a little bit more dynamically, I want a bit more side support in the seats, and I can do that. The fact that there's an additional massage function, well, that's nice now, isn't it? And the best thing, because Audi's virtual cockpit is standard on this vehicle, your hands really never have to leave the wheel. It's really such a great system. The 12.3-inch TFT screen gives you detailed information and allows you to configure the display according to your taste and needs. So yes, I am comfortable and I am connected in a typically beautifully finished Audi interior. I like the carbon fiber detailing that they've added to this vehicle as well. It feeds that sporty personality of mine. And my passengers in the rear are just as comfortable. Sufficient leg and headroom, as well as climate control and a power socket. And practicality, well, it's not just a plus anymore, it's now vital. Opening the power tailgate can be done via the key fob, or there is a motion detector in the rear bumper that responds to some fancy footwork. Without the rear structural constraints of a sedan, the Avant offers a substantial luggage capacity of 505 litres, but with hatchback versatility. Fold the 40-20-40 split rear seats down and you unlock a very usable 1,510 litres. And finally, I guess it's got to be a car that I aspire to own. And as a young boy, I obsessed over that Audi RS4 Avant. So clearly owning a performance wagon is on my bucket list. So there you have it. That's what I need from a car, and those needs are so easily matched by this consummate all-rounder. The only problem is pricing. Not that it's overpriced, just that it's overpriced for me. At 1.2 million Rand, that is pretty much what you would expect to pay for this level of performance and luxury. Yeah, I know man is obsessed with finding intelligent life out there, but if there was intelligent life here, they'd be driving wagons.